AI took over the world hundreds of years ago. Your history is all AI. Photoshop has been around for hundreds of years, through various means. Photos themselves are much older than we are told. At least 200 years. And I don't believe the first Photoshop is in 1857 like they say. The Mona Lisa was printed. It wasn't painted. Renaissance paintings like the Mona Lisa were made with 2-micron paint. 30 to 50 microns is the average today. It was perfectly layered and couldn't be replicated today. Yet we're supposed to believe that Da Vinci made it with mortar and pestle paints. Nothing today can be compared to what was being made in 1434 by Jan van Eyck. The reflection in the background is perfectly displaying the reversed image. No one can replicate this level of detail. This is a print, a laser print. Photoshop was also done through etching. We have all been getting catfished. How much of the history has been etched away? These are the original filters. Cartoon filter, whitewash filter, sepia, grayscale. Supposedly there were no Civil War photos in battle, but plenty right before. And it doesn't stop with people. Looks like a lively city block, huh? Those people are painted in. This is in the New York Public Library. You can see they're painted in if you look closely. That horse was never there. You can see they removed people from this one. Their legs are still there. I'm sure many of you know about the Vanilla Sky photos. What a terrible crop job there. They edit out the skies and remove buildings. The sky is commonly cropped out poorly. This whole building is superimposed onto this block. Yet they have been able to solve overexposure in the skies since 1867 with the collodion process. Oops, actually 1857. Yet we get vanilla skies even into the 20th century. Maybe this is why. Even in film we have layering. Half the people aren't even paying attention to this. History is worse than chicks with BBLs and filters. And don't get me started on the sculptures. I've actually been to this place too. The name of this piece is called Deception. It's made out of a block of marble. It's a fishnet made out of a block of marble, and he made it in secrecy. More laser technology that the mutants took over after the reset. That slightly raised pinky causing that muscle flex being captured perfectly like that. The Renaissance was a reset. None of these artists existed. The technology was usurped and used to whitewash the history. And there was a hard reset between 1776 and the Civil War. AI is the opposite of YaHUaH. It's really AI. AI has existed since ever. It is a program that is being uploaded through organic AI, aka human programs. The Grand Canyon is the real Giza Plateau. Look, this is what we mean when we say meltology. All of this area is desert because there was a motherboard meltdown. The Earth is a grid, a motherboard. It has melted down several times. This is from one of the most recent meltdowns. After Israel was divided within, it imploded and became open for attack. As you can see, all these people are Shemites. Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites are still all from Shem, even though they were supposedly enemies. Like Ashur, who fathered the Assyrians, who were also enemies. So all Israelites are Shemites, but not all Shemites are Israelites. Since they didn't get along, civilization fell apart. Edom is synonymous with Mount Seir. Mount Whitney is Mount Seir in the Sierra Nevadas. Edom is Rome. Edom destroyed the temple, the Israelites dispersed, and order continued to decay. These are melted buildings. Obviously melted buildings. These so-called pueblos are remnants of a melted metropolis. The survivors of the meltdown found refuge in these pockets of survival. Egypt is Mitzrayim. That's where we're getting Mississippi or Mitsori. This is Hamite land that stretched all the way to the Grand Canyon in Sedona or Sidon. Moab is said to be east of the Dead Sea in the Bible. Moab, Utah is east of the Dead Sea. The Moabites are the Moors. Moab's mom was his sister. He was a product of inbreeding. So Edom, which is Rome, took Jerusalem in 70 AD, which is actually 1070. And Rome, or Edom, fell in 476, which is actually 1476. The Spanish were Moorish slaves that revolted. The Spanish slaves took over the Moorish infrastructure in 1492. 48 years later, the Spanish finally reached the canyon. There was enough of a remnant of real aboriginals to hold them off for at least another 200 years, and so we have no history over this period. Nearby in the Pueblo Wars, aboriginals were being killed and shipped into Mexico for slavery. That's where many Afro-Mexicans and Afro-Cubans come from. By this point, most aboriginals are hybridized. It's a post-apocalyptic scenario with many wars. Pale colonists don't penetrate the canyon until 1869. Now 90% of it is off limits, especially the caves and mines, which are just corridors in the now melted metropolis. You can't even fly a drone over most of the canyon. Obviously, we get Kincaid's account in 1909, where he claims to find Egyptian artifacts. And then we get the unoriginal Hittite hybrid tribes placed there as a distraction. I don't think it's a coincidence that the canyon has all these Egyptian names, especially in Haunted Canyon. The whole desert out west is a post-apocalyptic area. I think these nukes were used to destroy something they didn't want people to see, because most of these detonations were done underground, and done until 1992. Definitely meltology. Slaves have taken over the world. This is how it happened. This is roughly the distribution of lands for the bloodlines. This is after the flood. There was a major reset war in 70 AD, aka 1070 AD. 1,000 years have been injected in the timeline. Canaan was a slave, Genesis 9 and 27, and the Canaanites or Canaanites, the Genghis Khananites, took over a large swath of land throughout the 1200s. This coincided with the Mamluk takeover. Mamluk means owned or slave. The fall of Rome is actually 1476. This coincided with the adoption of Christianity and precipitated the dark age that we currently live in. Again, Rome is Edom, the brother of Israel. They are both Shemites, but Edomites are not Israelites. The royal families of Europe come from Edomite women and Yaphetite fathers, particularly Ashkenaz. This hybridization produced the Anglos, or angels, the fallen angels, the Anglo-Saxons, or the Saka, which are the Scythians, or the Japhethites. They act as if they're German and even call Germany Ashkenaz. The Sax, or Saxon-Coburg-Gotha family changed their name to Windsor, and that is the royal family of England today. Brits were black, swarthy, like King Charles, and they were taken over by the Anglos. King George III, the last king of America, and Queen Charlotte, his wife, were light-skinned black people. You can see it. The American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Napoleonic Wars. These are slave uprisings and reset wars. Up until the late 1700s, Benjamin Franklin referred to the French, the Russians, the Italians, the Spaniards, and even the Germans and Swedes as swarthy. From 1775 to 1870, we had worldwide reset wars. The King of England today admits he comes from the Vlad Dracula bloodline, the vampiric bloodline. The world and the dreams have been colonized because parasites live in colonies. These chimeric slave clones were created to be soldiers and laborers. Now the soulless clones have gained enough power to forcibly crossbreed with the Rogam shot, creating heterozygous offspring. Millions were created and enslaved by their black, mulatto, and quadroon masters. The vanity and pride of people like the Moors precipitated these uprisings. Slaves ruled slaves. Life got even worse. There is no honor amongst parasites, and they will consume each other. That is why endless war and sacrifice continues. Genghis Khan said, "I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you." If only aboriginals could get along like Esau and Jacob in Genesis 33 when they reconcile. Parasites could never penetrate, and order would be restored. Even slaves could live a decent life. When those who are designed to lead don't lead, everybody suffers. When slaves lead, we all live like slaves. When soulless clones lead, they're in perfect position for parasites and fallen angels to inhabit them. Nobody is immune to vanity and pride, but grafts are even more susceptible to it. This is how the world is raped and the parasite spreads. At least 1 billion people are infected by the parasite that Genghis Khan had today. Humanity and mankind are not man. Know the difference.